Hi there and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Queen Wanza, and I'm so glad that you've made time to come and watch my videos. In this channel we talk about home decor, and today we are talking about curtains. We are talking about tips for when you're buying curtains and when you're installing curtains in your home. So let's go straight into the video. I was going to name this before we go straight into the video. I was gonna name this video mistakes to avoid when buying or installing your curtains, but then when I thought about it, I was like, maybe they're not really mistakes. They could be more biased towards one, liking, depending on what you like, but also two, depending on the level of decor that you want to see in your space. So they're not necessarily mistakes, but they're tips that can help you to basically improve your curtain game in your decor space. All right, so the first tip that I would share is please buy curtains that match with the rest of the aesthetics in your decor space. You know, sometimes you can see very good curtains, but the only problem could be that they're not really going very well with the rest of the decor items. And I would say if you're keen on decor, then you need to have this in mind when you're buying curtains, that they need to match with the rest of the decor items in your space. The goal is not just to have nice curtains, but it's to have curtains that also blend very well with the rest of the decor items in your space. And then the other tip is buy good quality curtains, whether they are brand new or you're buying second-hand curtains. Invest in buying good quality curtains if you're keen on making your space look good. If you do not buy good quality curtains, then they after some time they may begin to look not very appealing in your space. So if you're keen on having a space that looks good, please invest in buying good quality curtains. You'd rather save up rather than be quick to buy curtains that you'll not need maybe 1 year down the line. You'd rather save for some time and then buy good quality curtains. And the good thing is that good quality curtains don't always have to be expensive. They don't always have to be expensive. So you can do your research and see places where you can find affordable curtains that are good quality, whether they are new or second-hand. Then the other tip that I would share is this is a big one, guys. When you're buying curtains, please take proper measurements for your windows or your doors. And I would say, if you're not very good at taking measurements, if you don't know exactly how to take the measurements, get a tailor to do it for you. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that you will take measurements to a fundi, and because a fundi, I mean the person who is making your curtains, the tailor. And what could happen is that they will either make an assumption and add some measurements to what you've already given them, because the experience that they have is that most people do not know how to take proper measurements, so they always add extra measurements for what you give them. Or what could happen is that even with the added measurements by the tailor, you could come up with curtains that look a bit not very good on your windows or on your doors. Okay, so they could either be not fitting very well in the sense that they have a lot of space in between, like they're not properly just fitting very nicely, or they could be the curtain is just either not fitting the window, there's some space that is left where people can still peep in and that kind of a thing. And the other thing that could happen is that you may end up with curtains that are sweeping on the floor because they are too long, or they could end up shorter. The instances where people just want shorter curtains, but if this is not your intention, then please get good measurements, and if you can't do it, get someone else to do it for you. The other thing that goes in hand in that is that if you do not know how to install your curtains, get someone to install them for you. It could be the tailor that made them for you, or if they're not able to do it, then get someone who can do it for you to do it well. And this is to avoid things such as having hooks that are not enough for your curtains, or not placing hooks the right way, so that when you're trying to, for example, pull your curtains, you're not able to pull them well. Yeah, so it can help you avoid small things like that, or yeah, just small things like that. So if you don't know how to do proper installation, then get someone to do it for you, so that drawing your curtains or closing them in is not always, you know, drawing your curtains in or out is not always a stressful time. Then the other thing is, if you're going to get new curtains, please get a good tailor. Yes, get a good tailor. You want to know the quality of their work by seeing what they have already done. This is because, especially if you're investing in your curtains, details matter. What do I mean by details? If you buy curtains, you need to make sure that small details such as someone knowing how to properly match the thread with the fabric is something that they have in mind, or something as small as just knowing how to sew in a straight line properly. You know, you don't want a curtain that is good material, and then when you look at the what do you call it, the sewing, the line sort of looks like it's just not as straight. So those are the small details that I'm talking about, or even knowing how to put rings properly. If you're going to have rods, you need just to know to get a tailor who knows how to do a proper job. So please get a good tailor to do your curtains. The other thing is, still on the tailor, if a tailor is doing your curtains, please cross-check with them to just make sure that you're on the same page after you have explained how you want your curtains made, okay? And this is important because it will avoid sometimes mistakes here and there that can come because maybe a tailor thought they understood something, or you thought you explained very well but you didn't. This can look like maybe you said it could be a confusion, like you gave certain measurements for your bedroom, and then the tailor assumed that the same measurements for the bedroom window as the same as the one for the living room, and then you come and you find that maybe the size now for the curtains for the bedroom are now smaller, or they are now too big for your window. And because they've already been made, then it's either you have to incur an extra cost or go with them as they are. So those are the kind of things that can happen when you don't cross-check what you have discussed with your tailor. So it is important, and this is especially important if you're getting many curtains. Then the other tip that I would share is get shears that can give proper lighting, can bring in proper lighting to your space. This is if you want to have proper lighting in your space. Sometimes you can get very good shears, but then they do not bring in as much light in your space as much as they look beautiful. Yeah, so if you want a lot of light in your space through your windows, then you want to consider good shears, because you know most of the time, even when you have drawn your curtains or the blinders, you don't necessarily draw the shears. So get shears that are good quality and they also get in enough space. And one of the ways to do this is by avoiding shears that are too heavy and shears that are very patterned, because if they are too patterned, then they may not get in as much space. Yeah, but the other thing is, if you have a space that is safe, for example, you have an own compound house, or the space that you're in is just very safe, then you can actually just have blinders which you draw in during the night, and during the day you can just have windows bringing in all the light. Yeah, so that's the other thing that you could do, just to make sure that you have a lot of light. And if you want you know, and people not to really, if you want more privacy for people not to really see what's happening in your house at night, or know whether you're there or not, then you want to buy very heavy curtains. Yeah, when you're going to buy your curtains, they should be totally blackout, as they call them, so that people don't have to say, oh, now they have gone into that room, now they're in the other room. So that's the other thing that I would say. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.